It will be the most happy and miserable I will ever be having to work alongside this
Ain't
guy.
nobody going to be able to tell me nothing.
See what I mean?
Well, you're at 10-2
He
now.
makes
That's
he
where
makes
you're at.
being prickish fun, right? It's
Yeah.
kind of weird.
It's fun for me.
So
yeah, I'm at 10-2, Bruntz.
I gotta ask you, Mister 110 over 87. And a lot of hot takes after one padded practice at night on a Saturday. Was your enthusiasm tempered or was it heightened?
Well,
The chuckle. What's with the chuckle? What's with the chuckle?
I'm trying to decide which way I want to go. I could go one way. I'll go that way, but I'll go a different way first. I'll double back.
Okay.
I think it's a good sign that it felt like most of the one-on-ones and the positional stuff back and forth. It felt back and forth, right? Like that to me is a good sign for the most part. I think when you can see everybody out there, I think you realize how much depth they've been able to build the last couple of years. I can only think of maybe like one position to maybe two positions where you're kind of like, okay, there needs to be some building done here. But I think for the most part, it was noticeable to me that even at the positions that I went in expecting to be needing to do a lot of work, there were still a lot of one-on-ones being won. And the direction I was going to go secondly was the highlight of the night, the kicking. Was that the highlight? Was 7 for 7? Was that the highlight of the whole practice?
Not for me, but I could understand
the
argument. I understand the argument. I was excited about it. I was excited about 7 for 7 with 3 different kickers.
Yeah, that was okay. But no, I think that was kind of the main takeaways. I don't know that there was anybody that I saw that I was like, okay, this I had this person completely written off or coming out of left field, and they're now, in a too deep conversation. I don't think there was any of that, but I think when you actually see guys out there practicing and going through things, you can tell the work that they've done to the roster the last 2 years and where they're at now. Not only with bringing guys along, but also just I think some of the additions they made at the portal this past cycle were made at the right spots, and I think they've got the right guys in certain places.
Bruntz, I was going to ask you a different question, but then you made me think of something else, so I'm going to go with that instead.
I feel like you just swerved in front of me like you did the other night when we were pulling up to the studio.
I was like, hey,
no blinker. Listen, Bruntz, no blinker, no nothing. My man just got over.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, oh, okay. I guess you won over.
I gave you one of these. It's a blinker.
Okay. Zipper merging.
Yeah.
I
want him to zip it all right. That's for sure.
I was going to ask, you mentioned that you didn't really – there was 2 guys that I had sort of forgotten about that I thought actually looked pretty good on Saturday. And, again, it's one padded practice. But Maverick Noonan and Dylan Rogers, who were working kind of in those working in some jack spots and some edge situations. I had mostly forgotten about those 2 guys. I hadn't thought about them much. And I thought they looked good mixing in with guys that I am fairly confident are in the 2 deep.
Yeah, no, Rogers especially is somebody I think that kind of gets lost in the shuffle a little bit. What John Butler said earlier in the week, they feel like they've got a good 3 deep at that linebacker spot. I mean, I guess in my mind, I was thinking, if you get to 4 guys you can count on reasonably at that spot, you're probably feeling okay about things.
Isn't it amazing how we +1 that? Remember when Coach Rhule last year said you want 3 guys, and now it's like 3. Give me 4. Give me 4.
Well, last year they were very solidly at 3, and that was kind of the cutoff mark of where things got a little dicey. I think you get to 4, that's pretty good. 5 feels a little greedy, but I mean, I think that's what I mean. Like, I think they've at certain spots done an okay job of developing guys. I mean, I feel like we talk about this weekly, but that linebacker spot is a player. There's been a lot of development being done in the last 2 or 3 years. And I mean, Rodgers is in that conversation. I mean, he was a guy that was probably buried on the depth chart, but has stuck it out. And I'd agree with you. I thought he looked pretty good in what they were asking him to do.
Bruntz, did you have a moment, considering you guys run a message board and everybody's like hot take central? Do you ever think to yourself, did this person watch the same thing that I did?
Yeah, I mean, that's not even the message board stuff.
Twitter, it's people I talk to. Being
Shoot,
on
Wow.
I
didn't realize you were so principled.
being
Out
on
there, thought you walked around a little more grace. I'm sorry.
being on this show every week. I mean, there's a lot of things.
No, it's like,
What a jerk.
that's not a jerk thing to say. Like, I get text messages from people, and I'm like, I was at the game? Did I watch the like? I have to go back and watch games to make sure that I like, did I black out
Like
during
how
a certain
you
part of
ask
that
him the
game?
question and then his answer makes him a jerk. You let him into that.
It was his delivery. I didn't tell him what to say.
I have no other way to deliver it. This is the only way I can deliver it.
Message board. And then fellow Millard Northian chimes in, that's just life. And then he doubles down. Like, I'm just watching the train wreck unfold.
Roll Stanks.
Oh, gee. I just made up Millard Northian, too. That's like not even a thing.
The North remembers.
Carry on, though, Bruntz. Because I hate to be this guy, but I mean, I am what I am. Sometimes I'm like, how'd you guys draw that conclusion? I didn't see that at all. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I think I frequently think that. I think sometimes too, like you hear things like in a press conference setting and people kind of run with it about, well, if this was said, then that means this, and that means they're deficient here and need to be better here. And I don't know. Yeah. I mean, I think that sometimes too. I mean, I think people kind of focus on different things and that kind of affects the conversation a little bit. So I don't know. Yes, I think there is probably not consensus, especially in an open practice setting where, like, you've got offense down here, defense down there. You're probably looking this way for one rep. You miss a rep over here. Like you're not getting the whole. It's tough to kind of get the whole picture, I think, from a practice like that. And it's too bad that. And this isn't a criticism of the way things are, because I get it. Like, it would be nice to be able to see, like, okay, like this week to this week, this is how this person has come along. To get a little bit more, a few more data points, I guess, than just the one open practice. But I understand the limitations of that.
You need a few more, just a few more. Yeah, I can't read the chat. I can't read the chat without my glasses.
I didn't know you wore glasses.
Jeez, Bruntz. He's out of the tree of trust.
I can read this font without
I didn't know.
I sing this dude's praises every week.
I looked up and it was like a totally different person.
You act like I just round down Harrison naked. He's like, you wear glasses?
Are those readers? Are those cheaters?
Yes, geez.
It's because he refuses to go to an eye doctor and get actual glasses.
I don't need you conspiring with our guests.
I'm just saying.
Give it a rest.
I'm just saying.
Stang.
It feels. No. I
was going to welcome Damon into the glasses tree, like the tree of the.
Yeah, it's a different tree of trust.
I'm horrible, Bruntz.
One of us.
I can't read. Okay. Would you guys like to carry on?
That was funny.
Of course it was.
Bruntz, your answer there and actually DB's question are both pieces of evidence that it's my argument that they should let us watch more practice, because nobody knows what they're watching anyway.
Yeah. Why don't you pitch that to Coach Rhule? I think he'd be all in.
I will. Let's do it. Give me put him on speaker. We'll do it right now.
They start team meetings at 9.
Shoot. All right.
Go Big Red.
We'll do it after. But I legitimately, that's why I think you get so much like variability on what people see and what people observe. Because for the most part, people don't actually know what they're watching. And like to your point, there's a lot going on. So you can kind of like dial in on a couple groups, but you can really only see one thing at a time, which means you're missing 90% of what else is happening for the most part, except for in those, I mean, out of Saturday, there was 2 basically live periods where it was like, actually real football that you were just like lining up and running plays. So like you could let people watch a ton of practices, and I don't think you'd be giving very much away.
I'd probably agree. Fix that, please. Go ahead, Bruntz.
I don't know if there's a question there.
Bruntz, you're getting ready to tell us how you're like the Norm Chow, Buddy Ryan and me knows exactly what I'm watching. Is that where you're getting ready to go with that, Bruntz?
Not at all.
Mike Shanahan?
No, I think it's your point is correct. Like I think I'm trying to think in back when we were able to watch more, and it's been a long time. You at least kind of get more of a sense of like, okay, this guy is more a part of the plan, I guess, than maybe what you would gather from just one practice. Like, that's fair, I think.
Yeah.
And a guy has a really good practice, and if it's a practice in front of everybody, I mean, the narratives kind of go from there. But that's just you're playing with limited information there that you can actually see with your eyes. So I get it. I mean, it's and especially here there's a large media horde, and it gets larger whenever there's open practice. So it's challenging to have that many people there, but yeah, I mean, it's with the one practice thing, you are kind of you have to fight to not be a prisoner of the moment, I think, just with what you're able to see, and there's just a lot of a lot of bodies moving around, and just a lot going on too. So that's always the key, I guess, kind of keep that in mind.
We were talking earlier in the week, and this is after Coach Holgerson talked, and he was talking about the running back spot and Mackay, and he said, no, if he goes backwards, I'm gonna basically just kick him right in the rear and remind him like that he's not there yet. And I was telling Ravi, like, I think that's kind of cool because I pit it against Mackay's personality, who's highly motivated by what he needs to do to get on the field because they told him clearly what he's got to do better. Coach Holgerson reiterates it in a presser kind of anecdotally, yet I think it's going to be exactly who they are as an offense philosophically, right? Like, if you do X, Y, and Z, you give yourself a chance to play. If you don't do X, Y, and Z, then you're not. We're moving on to the next guy. Like, when you're listening to Coach Holgerson, have you listened to a guy that with as much brevity but tells you basically all you need to know is Coach Holgerson? He's not a ton of analogies, not real storytelling, but he tells you a ton.
No, it's refreshing. I mean, I don't think there's much mystery with us, or certainly probably not. I can't imagine that he's any less direct with his players. So
no,
going back to last year when he came in, I mean, I remember talking to, was it Ja'Cory Barney, I think, right after
the whole wide receivers, the blocking is awful.
Yeah. I mean, but he said, like, it was after a game, I think, and he was just talking about how, like, very, very direct he was about, like, what they were doing wrong, why they were doing things a certain way, those kinds of things. And I think guys just respond to that. Like, it's clear communication. This is, it's almost like a checklist. Like, if you do this and this and this, like, okay, we can get you on the field and see what you can do. Guys don't feel like they're getting jerked around if they have clear expectations. I mean, I think this generation of player probably appreciates the why and wanting to know why they have to do things. And I don't know. I mean, I think Dana kind of cuts through a lot of the noise.
You gotta recruit guys like that can handle that too, though.
So that was going to be my follow-up, is like, is it as much as anything knowing the information versus having someone who receives information that way well?
Yeah. I mean, I think maybe that's the benefit too of, having the off season, getting to know guys and not just, having to coordinate an offense the week you arrive somewhere. I mean, there's probably, getting to know you period with guys and how guys operate and that kind of stuff. But yeah, I mean, I also think, based on kind of a lot of the guys that Nebraska recruits, I think a lot of guys are kind of wired that way. I think I think Matt Rhule kind of naturally gravitates towards guys that would probably receive information that way. So, yeah, I mean, I don't know. I appreciate when Dana's up there. I mean, I don't feel like he's selling us a bill of goods or managing expectations or anything like that. I mean, he's kind of at that point in his career with, why does he need to do that? Just be honest and be direct.
Bruntz, did you pay much attention or learn a ton or whatever? A lot of people talk about the dynamics on defense with Addison being a former DC, Phil Snow's presence, Coach Butler year one. Did you pay much attention to like the dynamics and how the teaching works, or did you just walking away with, yeah, man, that's John Butler. He's the defensive coordinator. Like, did you pay much attention to those dynamics?
I was over by the defensive backs when they were doing the individual periods, and Phil Snow and Addison Williams were working the same drill. Like it was like, that's a lot of experience with a small group of guys just kind of running through things. And, I didn't get the sense that Phil Snow was just there to defer. You know what I mean? Like, if there's a drill that's needs to be run a certain way, he's going to run it a certain way. He's going to have he wasn't shy about, weighing in on things, even though Addison Williams is the position coach. And it was that way too in the spring. I mean, he was doing that with the young guys, especially because he was running a lot of the groups with the younger freshmen and red shirts and things like that. So, yeah, I don't know. It's when you just kind of see the size of the position groups. I mean, the size of the defensive back group almost demands that you have more eyeballs on that group, right? Like it's a really big group. And John Butler was kind of over there, but he was having to kind of walk around and things like that. But you also notice that, when they're doing team periods, I mean, where's John Butler watching from? Like he's usually back behind the safeties, watching things. So, I mean, that tells me that at least he kind of always has a little bit of a foot in that part of the defense. But it seemed like it, from what little I saw, it seemed like those three were kind of managing things pretty well and how they were working and things like that.
Bruntz, last thing for me before we get you out of here, that dynamic has always struck me as really interesting, right? You're talking about Addison Williams, Coach Butler, Coach Snow, but you also brought up a really good point, which I hadn't thought about. With that many guys in the room, I mean, we're talking north of 20 defensive backs, you probably do need several more hands in the coaching kind of pot than we maybe give consideration for. And we actually do see this in other spots too, don't we? Where like there's multiple wide receivers coaches, but we kind of only talk about Da'Kil Shorts. Like if it weren't guys that were like, if it wasn't a name that we knew in Phil Snow, do you think we'd even be like having this discussion, or would it just be like, oh, that's just another guy they brought on?
No, well, the discussion would be a lot different. I mean,
sure, yeah.
The offensive line's one where, you have Donovan Rhule, you have a long time, assistant offensive line coach. I forget his Aaron. I'm blanking on it. Aaron. Anyways, they've got more bodies over there. It's a different conversation just because of who Phil Snow is. I mean, in the Matt Rhule orbit, there's very few people that are bigger than Phil Snow. And, you have to assume that, when it gets time to game plan and you're in season, if his voice is going to carry a lot more weight than it would if it were just somebody else. And I think there's value to that though. Like, I think having somebody else that's been a coordinator for so long to kind of bounce things off of and be in the conversation. I mean, I think there's a ton of value with that. I think there's some coordinators that appreciate that kind of weigh in or having that person on staff. And some coordinators maybe might not be as comfortable with that. So, I haven't gotten the sense that, that there's any kind of stress about him being there. But I do think having somebody that's, that experienced, there's only, that only adds value to your staff.
You're talking about Coling?
Yeah, that's the name. I was completely blanking on him. Sorry. I just glossed over there.
Let me ask you. So I'll get you out of here on this, young Michael. If you looked at the schedule, you know what's ailed Nebraska. You get one unit to lead the way as the identity of this football team in 2025 with this schedule. Is it Eck? Is it Butler? Or is it Dana? What unit is the face of this franchise in 2025 for Nebraska to have Ravi be incorrigible? December.
If we're assuming that each group is going to be about what they've been, because I think the defense is going to be solid. I think it's got to be the offense. I think special teams will be better, but I think if you're able to just be a little bit more consistent, a little bit more efficient on offense, I think that would be a huge help, specifically the running game. I'd like to see a little bit more in the running game, a little bit more of something that you can rely on late in games, because they're all going to be close. I mean, you gotta be able to move the ball on the ground, and so I think the offense has to be the one that's got to be kind of take a little bit more of a step forward this year from what they've been. I mean, special teams is an obvious one, but I think the offense, if you get more consistency there, I think that you could do something there.
Wow, can you imagine if the face of the franchise in 2025 was Eckler in special teams?
He doesn't have. It's just got to be middle of the road. That's all you got to get to.
I don't know, man. I kind of get a little goosebumpy. That would be sensational. It's not sexy, I get it, but
7 for 7.
We started with it and we'll end with it. That's Michael Bruntz, Husker247. Bruntz, appreciate it as always.
Find a way to hang on to Kurtz, okay?
Yeah, we're working on it. I'm passing the hat.
All right, buddy.
See you guys.
Well, his Roman Anthony got 8-1-30. I mean,
hey,
that's extortion.
No, that's a great deal. Are you kidding me?
Well, elevators. It can get to 200.
It can get to 230, but still, I mean, we're seeing guys sign for like $30-40 million a year. Age 29 season through that thing. We love it.
Let somebody else buy the 30 to 40 years.
Exactly. Done too much of that already.
Yeah.
Bruntz, appreciate it as always. Talk to you soon.
Yep,
Thanks, Mike.